Huh?
Still need to go down to Tower Falls.
Yeah. Well, good morning and welcome to Cooley Outdoors. I am your host, Brandon Scott, and today's adventure, eventually we're going to go out the east entrance of the park and go fishing, but first we decided we are going to stop and wander around West Geyser Basin. Look, a man-made thermal feature. So West Geyser Basin exists right along the edge of the lake. It's not a circular shaped basin like most basins. It's actually just a narrow strip right along as you watch her. And of course, in all the geyser basins, there are boardwalks for you to walk on so that people don't dig ruts into the very thin, fragile crust and start falling in. So we're going left or right? So we're doing this counterclockwise. So grass means nothing's erupted for a while. Steam means stuff is actually coming out. Used to be a nice little cone there. West Thumb isn't the biggest nor the most exciting of the geyser basins. It's more of the scenery that it's along the lakeshore and a couple of special features within the lakeshore. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. West Thumb has paint pots. Well, you know, when you're working on a high traffic area, there's also a very delicate area where you could fall in. You don't really worry about putting in nails straight all the time.
Where was the fish found?
In one of the pools over there, I think. What? Does this go all the way around, or no? Oh, gotta go down the left to look at it. Sure. We'll go get the thumb paint pots. Hey Munchkin, I'm cold. I have goosebumps. You need to hold me and make me warm. Right, come look at the paint pots. Burble, 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 burble. Gurgle, gurgle. That one over there. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. Yeah, sulfuric acid, it's good and stinky.
Oh, I'm on a portrait.
I swear I've seen a bubble pop up over here a couple of times. Might have been a mouse. We still need to go to Artist Paint Pots.
I know, because I saved these.
Where's that?
Where we drove in, when we drove in that first day, and I said we should pull over and go look at the pretty features.
Oh.
It's like this, but a lot better.
You can go on the way out.
Maybe. Blurp. Got that one.
I heard that one.
Blurp. Blurp, blurp. So, mud pots form when the part of the basin is higher than the water table, so it's drier. So and it also has to be very highly acidic. So the sulfuric acid actually eats into the rock and dissolves it. And when the water does come up, versus the nice pretty pools you get other places, it's lower acidity, so doesn't eat away the rock so quick, and it's a lot more water.
looking at artist paint pots. Usually it's much
Thicker.
thicker and they make
And they can
pretty
jump.
jump low.
When the bubbles pop, the bubbles get a lot bigger. When they pop, they shoot up like feet in the air.
Oh.
Yeah.
I need to go.
Cold?
Another way that way?
Oh, we're gonna go all the way around. This was just to get up close to the paint pot, or to the pots. No, you're gross. Pretty flowers, pretty flowers, pretty flowers. Gross.
Seriously, Granny?
I heard osprey.
Like, you know, fall through it. You just found the wrong movie.
Yeah, no thanks to you.
Sorry, I looked, I swear. You look too.
I didn't look on your side of the truck. Different view of the paint pots. Don't know if I've talked about this before, but about 90% of the forest within the Yellowstone area is lodgepole pine. They're a species of pine that has evolved to deal with the really crappy soils found in the Yellowstone area, the high acidic, low water retention, so on and so forth. Most species of plants and trees cannot deal with it. Ooh, look at those bubbles coming up. Ooh, that's cool. You can watch them come all the way up. Bloop. And then another one. Bloop. Yes, I'm having fun with this. But yes, most of the ground in the Yellowstone vicinity, because of all the hydrothermal explosions and the volcanic eruptions, is too crappy for any other trees to grow unless you get the right conditions for other things to grow. And then we can run into spruces and such like that. But most of the time it's the lodgepole pine. And it's called the lodgepole pine because it grows nice and straight. And if you're in a thickly forested area, they have no branches on the bottom, making perfect for teepee poles, or lodge poles when the white man showed up. Lodgepole pines are also unique because they have two different kinds of cones. One is a regular cone that grows and puts out seeds each year and yada yada yada. The other one is a fire activated cone. It is sealed shut by a special resin that only melts away in super hot large wildfires, and then the seeds drop out after the fire has passed and grows new trees. So it is a very specially adapted tree to living in Yellowstone, both in the harsh conditions and in the consistent fires, which we didn't figure out till the fires of 1988 that burned over 2/3 of the forest in the park, and everybody flipped out because they thought the park was going to be ruined and the forests were going to never regrow and yada yada yada. And they come back the next spring, and underneath all the burnt out forests, still snags still standing, were kajillions and kajillions of little baby lodgepole pines that were growing over the fall and the next spring, and magically the forest all came back. So we learned that maybe fire isn't the worst thing in the world. Kind of again, West Thumb isn't exactly the prettiest of the basins in terms of actual geothermal features, but its proximity to the lake causes some pretty unique things. There are some old buried geothermal features out there, and you can also see the lake eating away at the shoreline here. There's a feature, or at least some hot sand over there, but you can see the old shorelines being eaten away because the lake is kind of tilting at a north to south. The north shore is coming up and the south shore is dropping down a little bit. So as you come along and head south, it's eaten away. Ignore the person's hat. But all this was deposited by the basin at some point when the lake level was lower and the water was flowing down that way. Now that the lake level has come back up, it is eating it away. But I was coming up here shortly, we're going to come up to one of my favorite features in the park, Fishing Cone, but Fishing Cone is further down, I think, and then there's something else erupting in the water. got this pretty little pool called Lakeside Spring here, flowing in. So the green and the brown bacteria means the water's not super hot. It's probably only about 100 degrees or so. It immediately turns around and dumps into the lake, getting more bacterial growth out there because the lake water, the background temperature for the lake water is only about 55 degrees. It's quite chilly and fun to swim in. More runoff coming from these small little pools here. Looks like mud pots trying to form. Gurgle, 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 gurgle. Go smell it. I bet it smells stinky. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. I don't remember this little geyser erupting in the lake.
We're getting near fishing cone.
I know, the fishing cone's out there. I don't remember these.
What's the
Yeah. Text Jared. Jared, you littered. A nice tall boy, a Pabst Blue Ribbon. Kidding, it's not actually Jared. Uh-huh. Yep. So don't be like that person. Do not throw anything into the geothermal features. You will ruin them for everybody else because there's a very high likelihood you will kill off the thermal feature. So do not litter. Do not throw your crap into the stuff. Do not ruin it for everybody else. I'm just going to take a short video of this.
One's on PBR.
Yeah, it's Jared's fault.
Oh, they have posted on.
Oh, son of a... So I can't get that close to fishing cone then, huh? There we go.
I guess I should have expected that.
They seem to feed off of each other quite nicely. Huh?
Oh shit.
Ay, 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 ya goof. Ya goober. Ay, you know, you'd think after 25 years she'd be a professional at this.
Is it hot over here too?
Huh?
Is it hot on the rocks too?
Probably just underneath, not at the surface, maybe not.
Just
I
curious.
mean, if you got some grasses and stuff trying to grow, it's probably not super hot, but I bet it's warm. If you dig down more than 6 inches or further, it's going to be nice and warm.
Yeah,
The pretty wave action. Making the beach dune, making the beach sand. Beach center. Gurgle, gurgle, green, gurgle, gurgle, green. Gurgle, gurgle, green. Gurgle, 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 gurgle. Gurgle, gurgle, green. Gurgle, gurgle. Yeah, see. Do not throw stuff into the thermal pools. You will ruin them. Just don't be an asshole. Don't throw stuff in. This is fishing cone. So legend goes, early visitors to the park would catch their fish along the lakeshore, bring their fish over to fishing cone, and boil the fish and then eat the fish.
the old-fashioned thing.
Supposedly. Whether or not that's true is you decide, but obviously the Park Service ain't gonna let you do that anymore. Just that. Purples. Purples.
Oh,
Yeah, it's only about 40 degrees out right now. Yes, it is late August, but we're also at almost 8,000 feet. Ooh, that's a nice cone there. Pretty lakeshore, pretty lakeshore, pretty lakeshore. You got that cone up there. Little cone, aptly named. Little cone. And then you have big cone, which is actively burbling. Looked like fishing cone is completely dry at the moment. And then you have big cone, where the foot was found. Look at the direction of the waves come in and dump all this debris here.
The public trying to figure out what happened.
Well, because a person went missing in the area like 3 weeks before the foot was found.
Yeah, no, that's why they're trying to probably still investigating on there.
Well, that's poopy because that's the fun part of the basin. We might be able to get it to the other side.
They don't want any tourists to find water birds.
Yeah, I know.
Just in case.
Anywho, this is a cool little geology moment. Most of the wind and the waves come from out of the northeast, so they come barreling across the West Thumb Basin and splash up all the debris up here, and you get these nice little beach landforms. And so West Thumb is actually an explosion crater and is roughly the same size as Crater Lake. Just here to the skinny part out there, just this cove in here is the same size as Crater Lake. Not even the rest of the lake. But yeah, anyway, that's closed. That area is closed because a tourist of some sort went missing in late July, and then about a week and a half ago a foot floated up in one of the thermal features over there, so we can't go see it in case we find more body parts. Darn. Also, take a look at the tall cliffs form there that the waves are eating into slowly. So we'll go back this direction and see if we can get over there some.
I just caution.
So paint pots are over there. Circled back around. We're going to go down this section of boardwalk now to go see other portions of this basin. Some songbirdies out there. You can see how much the water table fluctuates here. In the springtime, the water is almost all the way up to the tippy top of the rim, and as the summer goes along, the table drops. Surging spring, because I'm sure in the spring it dumps a lot of water out, but not right now. And then you got a very hot vent here gurgling away, which doesn't have a name yet. Look at the pretty blue of that pool. That's some hot stuff. Collapsing spring. I wonder why it's called collapsing spring. Get up on the windward side where there's not a bunch of steam in the way. Oops, sorry.
I look weird.
Oh, and then the...
Woo! Oh, I can't see now.
You get frogged out.
Yeah, I got fogged up.
Burble, 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 burble.
That was really nice.
Got ledge spring. Again, you can see how much bigger these springs are if you were to come back in June or July, which I would love to one year. How much bigger these would be. You can see the rim on this one is almost completely drained now in the late summer, but in the spring how much higher it would be. Is this even gonna have a name?
You can hear it underneath.
Oh, you can hear it femur rolling. Yeah.
It says
Percolating spring.
what babies I gonna get that one? Here's some.
Thumb geyser. I don't think it's geysering this time of year. Springtime geyser.
It doesn't name it.
Nope. Burble, burble, burble. Burble, 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 burble. Look at the deep chasm into that one. That's trying to paint pot up.
It's like it's melting there.
Huh?
It's like it's melting.
Uh-huh. Let's go slurp it up. We really need to come back in June, Mom, when all these springs are filled.
It was quite clear in the other.
But yeah, tomorrow I'm fine with just wandering around the geyser basins around Old Faithful. But you were out there for a day.
Where the parking lot we showed you?
The brand spanking big new one.
Okay, what part of the park is that in?
Northeast.
That's where they like to fish.
If we even can get down there anymore.
Yeah, we walk down.
Oh,
I mean, we walk to the end of it. Looks like the trail is easier to get down to the river.
well, yeah, I'm sure enough people have gone down there and fallen down there. Their options were to close it and watch people go around it anyway.
It's
or
not improved, no.
No.
But it was, straight down. Now it kind of.
Yeah,
But
straight
it's
down kept us.
changed so much.
Oh, I'm sure it has.
My rocks that I hurt my knee on are high and dry.
Just that you know the camera's catching all of this. So your complaints are going to be on YouTube forever now.
I haven't done anything stupid.
No, we haven't done anything stupid or illegal, so we have nothing to hide you two. We're just adventurous. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I'm going to push you into the pool. She flat tired me. She hasn't got her morning spanking yet, so she's being a little ornery. Yep. Oh, well, they let us go down to the right and let me go look at my favorite pool in the whole basin. A really big blue one. Nope. Dang it. Stupid people. Dang it. Darn. Nope. I don't know which one it was, but I guess it wasn't the one I like. Gurgle, gurgle.
Oh, it's pretty big.
Yeah, and it's my favorite one in the whole basin to go look at, too.
The one that the person fell into?
Yep. Oh well, I guess we're done here then. Just get a bit more of a bird's eye view of the basin. There's supposed to be some food rolls up here too. Oh, the milky goodness. Yum yum. And yes, I do not know why the water level in these springs here is so high, but everything else is so low. There must be a impermeable vertical layer of some sort separating them. Because as you get closer to the lake, it just drops off in the water table. But up here at the very high point, it's not, which is strange. See, geology can be cool.